Okay. What did he say?
It's a great day to see everybody here. I'm glad you all made it. Why don't we all stand and say our defining statement? Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to moving the world, one child and one community at a time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Father, we come before you today in humility and grace. We thank you for all you have given us and the many blessings in our lives. We ask for your guidance and strength. Show us the way and fill us with courage and wisdom. Help us to remember your love and to be faithful in our service to others. Give us the patience and understanding to face life's challenges with grace. Father, we also come before you with grateful hearts, thankful for the gifts of the day, for the food we are eating, and the opportunity to gather together as a club. As we share this meal, we ask your continued grace and protection over each member of our club. Bless this food to nourish our bodies and strengthen our spirits. Help us to be mindful of the joy and comfort we find in these moments spent together. May we cherish the laughter, the conversations, and the connections we make around these tables. And may we always remember to appreciate these precious times. Father, also guide us to support and uplift one another. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Birthdays, we have 3 birthdays all on the same day, which is April 6th, and it's Tony McCullum, John Miller, and Patrick Yankee.
Yeah, so 2 more weeks for the diaper drive. So if you'd like to write a check, write it to the diaper train, give it to me. If you want to pay by credit card, there's QR codes on everybody's table. You can donate that way, and hopefully I'll have an update in a week or so about the total that we're bringing. Second announcement, May 10th, put it on your calendar. We're going to do a Rise Against Hunger meal packing event with local Rotary clubs. So we want to bring as many of our folks out as possible, and hope to see you there.
Thank you.
On your table, you will see 2 pieces of paper about our golf tournament. We are now less than a month to the tournament, which is on May 1st. We are still looking for more golfers, sponsors, and volunteers who are not playing golf but are willing to help with things like registration, driving a beverage cart, and working on the dinner, which we'll have after we play. So please, if you have some free time, sign up and we'll collect those afterwards.
Excellent, okay. Yes.
Make an announcement too. Another May event. We've locked in Kiwanis Park on May 30th, which is a Saturday, and we're going to host the first that I know of K Family Day. And that's where we're going to invite all of our SLPs, our Key Clubs and our Circle K, and all of the parents and the faculty advisors and everybody to come have a big open house with our club. And that's May 30th, so keep that date on your calendar too. What's that? Saturday, the 31st? Well, whatever that Saturday is, then it's the 31st. We've got it locked in, and we're going to get all the details soon on that, so that's going to be really fun. Kiwanis Park. And as far as our sponsored park and our sponsored trail, I'm waiting on them to give me the green light on that, but we're going to have that ready to go pretty soon too. So we're working on getting our outfits and uniforms ready for cleanup days. So anyway, stay tuned for those dates. They're coming. Me again. So today we have the pleasure of welcoming Hank Bauer, chairman of the North Carolina Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission. He was appointed to this role by Governor Roy Cooper in December of 21. Brings over 30 years of industry experience to the position. I tried to research your work history, and every time I Googled ABC chairman, it kept recommending whiskey instead of Wikipedia. But I got to know him a little better. Before leading the commission, Chairman Bauer served as general manager at Empire Distributors, where he also had held roles as director of sales and on-premises director. His career includes leadership positions with Boston Beer Company and Blue Ridge Beverage, where he focused on strategic growth and strengthening supplier relationships. Proud North Carolinian, Chairman Bauer earned his Bachelor's of Science degree from Western Carolina University. He now lives in Charlotte with his wife and their 2 children, who also work and live in Charlotte. Please join me in welcoming ABC Commission Chairman Hank Bauer. Thank you.
Thank you, Hugh, and thank you for having me here today. I get excited to come give these speeches, and I'm going to sound like a cheerleader talking about our ABC system, because I do think it's the best in the country. I know there's some doubters and naysayers, so hopefully when I'm done, you'll agree with me on this. I came from, like Hugh said, I came from private industry alcohol, retired from my last company, thought I was done, played 133 rounds of golf in 10 months, realized I wasn't going to get any better, so I better go back to work. Threw my name in, and Governor Cooper appointed me, and I've been very happy. I'm born and raised in North Carolina. I love this state. We have the greatest state in the nation, and wanted to do whatever I could do to make it better, and that's what I'm trying to do at the ABC Commission. There's a lot of positives in here. There are also some opportunities we're going to get into in the end, but there's a lot of misconceptions about how our system works. There was a story printed last week, I think it was the Charlotte Observer, and they got it completely wrong, which I thought was funny. They didn't fact check or contact Beth on how it actually works. But again, we had a legislator design our system in 1937. Apparently, I can't find his name, but whoever it was a genius. It's incredible what we have. It's a standalone system that there's 0 tax dollars coming from North Carolina residents to run it, which is incredible to me. The commission is separate from the boards. The commission is run by bailment and surcharge, so every case that leaves the warehouse, we charge the boards a fee to do that. The bailment fee is for us to run the warehouse, the vendor, the surcharge is to run the commission. So again, no tax dollars. The boards, they have no tax dollars going to them. Their revenue is generated from their sales, and they run their business, and then they make returns to the community, which is fantastic. And then this is the best part, which just blows my mind. I didn't even know this when I threw my name in the hat. So the last bullet point, suppliers ship spirituous liquor to North Carolina, to our state warehouse that we own that's 40 years old and too small. But there's no charge to the commission. And currently there's I looked this morning, it's $111 million and almost 1 million cases in our 2 buildings that we have. So suppliers ship that in, no charge to the state, no charge to the commission. Then the boards place an order, and we ship the product to the boards. They sell the product, and then within 30 days, they have to pay the supplier for what they have, for what they ordered. And for most cases, they've sold the product before they even pay for it. So this legislator that came up with this system in 1937 was incredible. Because you go to other states that are control states, there are 17 in the United States, and those states are actually paying for that product, which, I mean, we don't want to tie up $110 million every month to pay for the product when we can get it for free, ship it to the boards, and then sell it. So it's incredible that what he came up with. Some of the misconceptions, the commission does not run the boards run themselves. We are just the oversight and regulation. It is fantastic. They do listen to us. They are looking for direction. You know, I brought a lot of my private industry to them, and I think we've gotten a lot better. I know they're reinvesting in the system. They opened 19 new stores last year, so we are increasing the number of stores that we have in North Carolina. Currently, there's 447 retail outlets, which is a lot. People talk about privatization and they should have spirits in every single convenience store and grocery store. 100% against that. We don't need vodka in convenience stores. So we need to keep the system the way it is, and with the current board system. The boards generated $1.9 billion last year in revenue. Our fiscal year is July through June. Again, another big number for us in the state. And this is the next thing, the general fund and the local community contributions. I was shocked when I started because back then, 3 years and a few months, I would go meet with legislators and they were talking about, we need to privatize. And I'd say, well, so you're going to give up the $543 million you just received? And they're like, what are you talking about? I said, you get a contribution from us every single year and it's growing. There has been states that privatize, like Washington State, and you see that contribution to the state drops by at least half. So legislators aren't giving up this money. They need that to build roads and what other programs they're going to do. And then also local community contribution. The way it's set up for pricing, they received $170 million for local government last year, which is fantastic, for a total of $713 million. North Carolina, the last bullet point, we're the only control state out of the 17 that's growing across a rolling 12 months, which says a lot for what we're doing in North Carolina. I like to say that it's because of us and the commission and the boards, but we do have over 100,000 people moving here every month. So it's not all us, but I do think we're doing the right thing in growing our business. And then this is the biggest one that I love, and I tell legislators all the time. So North Carolina is top 8. It's hard to get the actual numbers. We're probably 7 or 8 in the country in revenue for spirit sales. But we're number 1 in contribution back to government and state government and local government. So you think about that, a New York, a Texas, a California, even Florida, that population's doubling North Carolina, and sales that are probably doubling North Carolina. We give back a lot more money to our community than they do in those private markets. Let's get in. We are alcohol beverage control, which I love. I mean, it's not rampant. It's not in every store. It's, we're trying to do everything we can to stop underage drinking. In my 3 years, I've seen 3 violations with ABC boards selling to underage. All 3 employees that sold the product were terminated immediately. So we have a monthly hearing at the commission where we sit up there and go through all the violations. And if there are 100 violations in that month, 75% of those are private industry, convenience stores, grocery stores, bars and restaurants selling to underage kids. And I'm getting chills. It gets me fired up. I mean, we got to stop underage drinking. And we got to stop selling it to them, and it's inexcusable that we're doing that. We're looking at a few things. We are sending out law enforcement more to try to enforce that. Also, we're looking at raising the fines for these bad actors that are selling to underage kids. It has to stop. And then also, too, we do have an education community outreach team that's fantastic. It's the team's made up of ex-ALE officers that have retired. And then also, too, we have a lot of ex-athletes, which a couple of them played professional ball. One of them's, 7'2" or something. But it's great that they're going into the schools, because the students that are 8th grade to high school, I mean, they look up to these athletes and they listen about underage drinking. And then our Talk It Out program, which we just won an award last year for that program. We're one of the only states with this. And I know there's a lot now that are trying to copy what we're doing in North Carolina, because it is important. If you have young kids, I mean, you need to talk to them early. It's crazy, the stats that what percentage of 8th graders are actually trying alcohol. So don't think your kids are too young to talk to about the problems with underage drinking. And then also, too, it's mind-blowing. I get weekly reports, but the ABC Commission Education Community Outreach Team, they're reaching over 1 million. They're making 1 million impressions monthly on all the technology that we have at the commission through our Facebook and Twitter and everything else that we have. So we are getting to the kids and making sure that there is a control side of what we're doing at the commission. And then I have to throw this in. I get questions all the time, allocated bourbon. So allocated bourbon, when I first started, my first year, the fiscal 21-22, we got 41,000 cases of allocated bourbon into the state of North Carolina. Then working with suppliers, the next year it went up to 66,000. And then this past year, we had over 100,000 cases of allocated bourbon. I do bring that up because, I mean, that's usually the number one question I receive is where do I get allocated bourbons? It is growing. You can see at a tremendous pace. And then also too, even the 100,000, and then I think next year that number will actually go down because we're getting so much bourbon now that we're taking it off allocation and it's just everyday items, which is fantastic for the citizens of North Carolina. Went through a lot of the positives, opportunities for us, technology. I got to the commission. Our current system is 30 years old. If you know technology, that's a challenge. We're updating that and we're going to switch. Another thing too, if you're a bar restaurant in Asheville, North Carolina, and you want to get a permit to open your restaurant, you have to schedule an appointment, drive across the state, come to the commission, and hopefully within that hour you get your permit and you had all your paperwork correct. That's something else I saw. Well, this is 2025. So online permitting is kicking off in the next 30 days. We're testing it now. So people aren't going to have to come to our office anymore. They can just go online and apply for a permit. So we are getting with the times. Also, too, we're doing a project with SAS, which I'm very excited about. Legislators, when I first started, were talking about transparency and then just servicing the customers in North Carolina. So our SAS project, you're going to be able to go to our website, say you're looking for a bottle of Tito's. You're going to be able to go to our website, plug in your zip code. You can follow the product you want down to that local board and see what the inventory is in that store so you know which store to go to. You don't see this in any other control state. You don't see it in any other open state. So I thought that was pretty neat technology that we're coming up with and just a benefit for our citizens in North Carolina. The biggest opportunity we have, and I spend a lot of time at the legislative building, is our current warehouse is 40 years old. It's 200,000 square feet. There's no technology. We do have a backup warehouse, 200,000 square feet also. It just creates issues. We're having to transfer 400,000 cases a month from the backup warehouse to our state warehouse just to get product to the boards. So we're touching product 5 times before we can get it to the stores. If we were private industry, we'd be out of business. So that's my biggest push with legislators. We've come up with a plan how to pay for it. Again, I'm big on no tax dollars going to our alcohol system in North Carolina. We bring in, last year was 28.5 million in permit fees. We just want to be able to keep our permit fees to pay for this new warehouse, and we'll pay for a brand new warehouse in 7 years. And then what that's going to do is we're losing a lot of business because we can't get product to the boards. It's just going to generate more revenue, as you saw earlier in that 543 million. I think by 2034, we'll get to the $1 billion mark. And that will pass lottery too, which is a goal of mine. I want to be the top contributor for the state. And I think that's it. Hugh said might have questions or, yes, sir.
Our team of ABC experts at this table,
Yes.
we've done some research on this, and we don't know what allocated bourbon is.
You're flavor experts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tasting.
Yeah, it's great. We've seen stuff like Buffalo Trace everybody wants. Last year we got 26,000 cases. We're allocated 46,000 this year. You probably see that on the shelf every day. Elijah Craig on the shelf every day. A lot of great products for the state of North Carolina. And we're in a good situation too with that as far as suppliers recognize North Carolina is a growth state because we are one of the only states that are growing right now. And so they want their products here to gain market share. So we're going to benefit from this. What do you mean? What is it? Oh, no, I'm sorry. All right. So when we allocate a product, say Buffalo Trace, we know we're getting that 46,000 cases each year. It is broken up by month. So what we do at the commission is we know Buffalo Trace, I'm going to allocate 2,064 cases a month. I break it up by volume. So Mecklenburg ABC is our biggest board, Wake is our second largest, and we plug it in. I have a spreadsheet that plugs in the formulas to what they should get, and a lot of it's based on population and sales. But it's hard to get items coming from the supplier, and most of it is bourbon, and some of it is tequila. They're gonna tell us up front in January how many cases we're gonna get, and if we just opened it up so anybody could order it, you might get a small board in Western North Carolina that orders 2,000 cases, and then the rest of the state doesn't have product. So that's allocation. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got one observation and one question. The observation is how you know you've been around too long is when you think brown bagging in North Carolina hadn't been that far ago. And the question I have is, do you ever get any comments on your namesake, the ex-New York Yankee outfielder Hank Bauer?
I do. I get asked that all the time, and I'm a little bit younger than that Hank Bauer. And my family's from upper New York and in New Jersey, so yeah, I get that a lot.
You mentioned some bourbons coming off of allocation. Which ones could you name off the top of your head here?
I think by the end of the year, Buffalo Trace will definitely come off. With getting 46,000 cases, we don't need to do it. Right now, we're still doing it, but I think the product's actually backing up in a lot of the stores that we're getting so much. You'll see that. Elijah Craig, I think it's 18 year. We took Sazerac rye off last year. We were getting so much of that. I don't know. It would be a guessing game. What happens is once we see it started saturating the market, these items are sitting in stores, then we can take it off allocation and just free it up. Because you're seeing it now in some of the bigger markets, even Buffalo Trace for this year on the shelves in Mecklenburg, on the shelves in Wake. And then if you're looking for these bourbons, I'd go see a lot of these smaller boards if you're traveling the state, because it's definitely backing up in those boards. Yes, sir.
So there's 17 states that have total control.
Yes.
So that means 30, whatever the number is, states have, and these guys will give you the number, but there's no control. And so in the control, how do you set the prices in North Carolina or any place else?
Yeah, so for North Carolina in a control state, it's dictated by legislators. So there is a pricing system. You can go on our website and click on it. And it's broken down the markup from the product. So the supplier dictates their price, what they want to see on the shelf by plugging in their FOB. And then our pricing formula comes up with the retail at the end. So if you buy a bottle of Tito's and Wake, you're going to pay the same price as the Mountains, or it's all the same. And then it's actually a pretty cool chart if you look at it, because it does break down where the money's going: state, local, community, DHHS. The legislators, there's a pricing formula that they have, I don't know what year they brought it out, but they set the formula. No. And I don't want it to. I don't think our prices should go up, because I live in Mecklenburg. If I go down to South Carolina and buy a bottle of Tito's, it's $2 cheaper than what I would pay in Mecklenburg. But there is an advantage to this. So those allocated items I was talking about before, the harder to get items, or the tequila's on fire in North Carolina. It's the number $1 category for us. But if you look at those items, you go to another state that's open like South Carolina, Buffalo Trace is $38 here. You go to South Carolina, you're paying $55, because they can mark up whatever they want. Ours is set, so everything is at the same margin. I actually went to legislators 2 years ago and said, let me raise the margin on allocated products, and then it'd be on the shelf every day. Because, I mean, you can go down to South Carolina and buy a bottle of Weller's for $399. You can buy it in North Carolina for $65. If I could sell it for $399, it'd be on the shelf every day. I marked up my beer and wine. Oh yeah, there was nobody the same markup. Yes.
How on earth did you get exemption from the state property office? The semi government agency for which I worked tried desperately to get exemption from state property and were never able to get it.
I'm not sure. Yes.
Are you doing that independently of the state property office? And how did you do that?
Unfortunately, no. They're involved. Now, we put an RFQ out to do a study to figure out what it was going to cost. We're searching land. The state property office did give us a waiver. We're working with a private industry commercial real estate company to find that land. So yeah, we did get a waiver on that. Now, when we find the land that we want, we'll have to go back to them to approve it. Yeah, because believe me, it sped up the process a lot, cutting them out in this step. Yes, yeah.
Can you explain how the product gets from the manufacturer to your warehouse, to the board, to the stores?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So the manufacturer, you heard me talk about it before. So we have a state warehouse that we own that's 40 years old. We lease a warehouse in Clayton that's 7 miles away. So between the two, that's 400,000 square feet. There's also 2 bonded warehouses in Raleigh. So private industry, they can store booze in there. They've made a business out of it because our warehouse is too small. So the manufacturer, let's say Tito's is our biggest selling item. So Tito's will we give them a par. So Tito's, you can keep 60,000 cases in our building each month. So they look at what they need, they place the orders, they ship the product to us, to our warehouses, the Clayton warehouse and the Raleigh warehouse. We store it, put it away, put it in its correct location, and then the board orders the product from us, and then we load the trucks, ship it to the boards, and then the boards put it on the shelf and sell it. I came from the 3-tier system, beer and wine. It's no different. We're really I guess you can look at it, we're the wholesaler. We're buying from the supplier, we're the wholesaler, and we're selling to the customer. Yes?
Yeah, so how does a underage kid go into an ABC store or a liquor store and buy, whatever? I'm sure they're showing an ID, maybe a fake real ID. How does that actually work?
Well, like I said, there's only been 3 in 3 years, but yes, fake IDs are a big problem. In the state of North Carolina, I believe, is addressing that. The new IDs have, 53 there's 50-something checkpoints on the new IDs. They're incredible. But these fake IDs are really good. But the problems we've had, those 3 people, I think it was people selling to people that they knew, and they knew that they were underage, and they were terminated. The biggest problem I have is when you see convenience stores that have had 15 violations for selling to underage. The kids in the community know I can go to that convenience store, that mom and pop store, and they're going to sell beer to me. That's the problem. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, yes, sir.
What do you have to do to get to serve on an ABC board?
On an ABC board?
Yes.
Gary, county. There's 2 gentlemen here that have served on the board. I guess contact the local board and put your interest in. Yeah, because we don't appoint the local boards. They do it locally. So yeah, it would contact them. They're in statute, and I guess they can change them too locally, but they usually roll off every 3 years. So there's usually openings. So if you're interested, please, contact your local board and let them know you're interested.
What will the impact of tariffs have on certain brands? And number 2, what are the top selling bourbons, gin, and vodkas in this state?
Yeah, so our number 1, number 2 item is Tito's, is $7.50 and 1.75. And then Interesting enough, there's a tequila, it's called Lunazol, that was selling nothing 2 years ago. We're the #1 state in the country for that brand. It's doing extremely well. It's in most of the restaurants and bars. Then you have your Jack Daniels, Crown Royal is a big seller for us. And then as far as tariffs, I was reading something this morning on that. We were worried because, again, tequila is our #1 dollar category, and we were afraid of that. I read something this morning where they're going to hold off on Mexico and Canada right now because Crown Royal is a big product for us too. So I don't think it's going to affect North Carolina anytime soon. And then also too, we're in a good spot as far as when suppliers are contacting us about what they want to bring in and they're setting up their pricing. They have to do it 90 days out, and we don't allow them to make any changes. So we would at least have a 90-day period before they can add any dollars to it. And I was also told initially, when everybody was going nuts about it, the tequila makers were going to eat that tariff, but you're not going to eat 25% for a long period of time. You can't. I know they make a lot of money on spirits, but you're not going to do that.
Well, first, thank you very much. Over the last several years, it's just apparent how much better the selection is at the stores in terms of different product and so forth. What do you do on things like, you mentioned tequila, then there's mezcal, and then Sotol is right behind that. What do you do to bring on new product? And can you talk a little bit about how you work with locals like Durham Distillery, which is just blown up with Conniption gin?
Yeah, so we have a listing period twice a year. But with a listing period, we have to have a delisting. So we go in and look at, for the national brands, if you're bringing less than $30,000 profit, we move you to a special order item. So we're going to take you out of the warehouse, make room for other brands that we want to bring in. It's very tough. I mean, it's only because we have such a small warehouse. $30,000 in profit is good. I mean, that's a lot of sales. So it's hard on us. So that's the process for that. But we are active. I think before I came on, they just did it twice a year, and that was it. You either got in then or not. But there's so many big brands coming out now, or we might see something in Texas that's on fire. We'll go ahead and list that brand during the year because we don't want to miss out. And then as far as North Carolina distillers, I work with them closely. They have taken off. I think there's 110 now registered in the state. It's incredible. And they're making some great products too. So we try to support them also. That is something that was tough. 2 years ago, we did start delisting North Carolina brands. And when I say delist, we've taken it out of the warehouse, but they still can sell it as a special order item. But we put their level at $3,500 profit because we want to support North Carolina.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So alcohol, booze can kind of be a double-edged sword. It can help bring people to a city center and help grow a new environment of a nightlife district, et cetera, but then it's also got all the negatives too. So does your board have any role in advocacy one way or the other for like the blessings of it or the curses of it?
I'm not a good politician. I want to sell as much as we can, just because we're giving back so much money to the state, which is doing good for our citizens, and then the local community too. A big portion of that pricing formula is alcohol rehab. I mean, if we were in an open state, you wouldn't have that money going. So it's millions of dollars to people that have had bad experiences with alcohol. So it's tough. My legal team would want me to stand up here and not say all this, but I want to generate and grow our market as big as we can, but then also too, I would never want to privatize or go open market. I think we have a good control over where the products are being sold. And like what I said before too, only 3 cases of selling to underage in 3 years is fantastic when you get 75 a month from the private industry. So yeah, we're regulatory and we're controlling, but I also want to sell as much as we can. It makes a good case for us to get a new warehouse when I could pay for it and build it and do everything we need to do and keep our system the way it is.
Well, also you mentioned you have programs in place where you're in the schools and you're touching 1 million people a month on
Yeah,
social
it's-
media. So that's advocacy, that's good.
It is. It's impactful. And like I said, too, I know that there's no other control state doing Talk It Out, but Talk It Out is one of the best programs I've ever seen. Because I remember when my kids were 8th, 9th grade, and I was nervous about talking about you shouldn't be drinking at this age. If you go on our website and pull up the Talk It Out program, it walks you through how to do it. It makes it so much easier to sit your child down. And I wish I had it back then when they were that age. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We do for each speaker. We have a group that we give after-school program, and it provides meals, tutoring, and books to children from low-income families in Wake County. So we would like to have your name on the inside of one that we're going to provide. Thank you. Okay. Thank you all for joining us, and this has been really great. Appreciate it. Thank you.